Hi everyone. In this video I'm going to teach you how to further add content onto your pages. So let's click on the last page that we added. And we're going to go into detail all these buttons that you can use in order to create content for your pages. This is a default editing mode for your site, and you can toggle between two views. This is the visual mode, where you can add content and create or change the styling by selecting different pre-formatting modes here. Or if you're familiar with HTML, this is by clicking on the text tab, you would add your HTML code here. So you can add an H2 tag. Like this, using HTML. If you toggle back to your visual, you'll see that this is it displays your HTML code. But let's review these buttons here. Like I said, this is the default editing mode for your site, and this is the visual tab. And there are two rows of buttons here. The first row, we're going to go over the buttons. Any content highlighted, and we click this button, it will make it bold. By clicking it again, you unbold it. You can make the text italic. Clicking it again makes it not italic. Strike through. If you're going to make a list of contents, you can format it this way by making a bullet list. And anything after that will be a bullet, unless you hit enter twice. Then you leave the listing formatting. You can also have a numbered list, which is right here. You add your content, and it automatically formats with numbers here. You can have a pre-formatted block quote. So this just adds a particular styling that you want, and this has all been pre-formatted for you. This is a horizontal line, which adds a break to your content. With any content, you can align your text with these buttons right here that I'm going to be showing you. So this is an align left mode. You can align things center. As you can see, now there are margins on the left and right, and you can align text to the right. It's pretty much very similar to a text processing software like Word. Okay. Here is where you would make something clickable by pressing this button. And here you would add your URL. We could add Google, for example. We hit apply, and now this is a link to Google. To not make it a link, you would hit this button, remove link. This button next to it adds an insert more tag. You won't use this very often, actually. And the next buttons actually add short codes, a more advanced type of coding for your content. If you don't know how to use these, then I wouldn't dabble into them too much. The second row of buttons, for example, add pre-formatting to your content. So by default, everything that gets added is a paragraph, but if you want to create a heading, you get on this drop down and you have options. So heading 1, heading 2, all the way through 6, and then pre-formatted here. You have options here. A heading 1 is the most eye-catching heading, probably the title of your page, and then so on. The ones underneath are formatted to kind of flow with the numbers. So for example, a heading 1 is much bigger font, but a heading 2 is also big font, but smaller than a heading 1. If you make this a heading 3, you can see how it's smaller than a heading 2. Let's add some more content underneath. Here, this button is to underline any text. This button is similar to these text aligning buttons up here. This one justifies your content, centers it, but adds no margins to the left or right. With this drop down, you can select text color. So if you want to highlight something, make it green or red, you do so here. With this button, you can insert text directly from Word without any formatting, but that tends to be now the default way to do things, so this button pretty much you won't use. With this button, you can select everything and it clears all formatting, meaning it's going to delete all H1s, take off all the colors. This is used if you want to restart something. If you want to add a special character, remember we're working with computers here, so you can't just add any character without throwing any code off. So if you need to add a special character, you click this button and it gives you a menu of symbols that you can add. If you need a dagger, it's right there. If you are creating an outline, for example, and you want to add some indent space to this title, you click here, increase indent, and it's going to add a margin to the left-hand side of this. Here's an undo button. If I didn't like the last change, you can close out or redo. And keyboard shortcuts button. It'll show you how to make things, how to work quicker with your keyboard. Alright guys, and then that's how you can add some more text. Let's preview the changes, everything we added, see how it looks in the front. This was our heading 1, heading 2, heading 3. This is paragraph. We made this text red. This is the special character that we added. This is where we justified this text, where we centered everything but didn't add margins to the left or right. This is where we underlined this text, the horizontal line that we added, etc. That's how you further add text content to your web pages.